Hello again, this is Michael Milligan with AccuNet, and thank you all for attending and thank you for your business. I recognize many of the customers on the line. Today I have Jeff Suin with me representing Microsoft, who will be doing the bulk of the presentation. And with us also is Valerie Borick with Plumline Consulting. Plumline Consulting is the company that has the support and maintenance contract with Microsoft to update Dynamics SL. So we've got some heavy hitters with us today, and we'll be able to put on a good presentation. I am recording today's presentation, so don't say anything that you don't want to be recorded. In the bottom of the screen, you can also see a chat box. So I've got everybody muted to prevent background noise, but you see there's a chat box down at the bottom. It says to the presenter only. So if you send to me and not everyone, then I can get a question and I can answer that question either online if it benefits everybody, or respecting your privacy, answer the question because most people probably have that same question. So questions are good, but you'll have to chat them in. I will try to open the line at the end to handle any general discussion. All right, so I'll go ahead and advance the screen for me, Jeff. Appreciate that. So AccuNet, just briefly, 2 slides on AccuNet. We're named for accounting and network services. So we implement packages like Dynamics SL and have for over 30 years. We also have the network services, so experience with things like firewalls, server configuration, security, printers, domain rights. Those things are increasingly important in this internet world to be able to handle those type of security issues. So we can handle those as well. I want to remind everybody that you can that we have a full-time Dynamics help desk, and you can send an email to support@accu.com, and all our consultants will see that email, and we can collaborate on that and get you back the best answer and contact. And then finally, increasingly with these powerful accounting solutions, it's not so much anymore that they don't have the features and the power in these accounting systems, but it's how you implement it is what is increasingly important. And that's why AccuNet has become very interested in project management and also business process improvement to do things like streamline processes, automate, customize, integrate, share, and reporting information, either over the web or in dashboards with packages like Power BI that we have today. So what we're looking for is anything that we can improve. And if it takes one of your people 8 hours a month to do this task, and we can automate it for a one-time cost of 6 hours at our fee, then that's probably worthwhile doing. And those are the type of process improvement things we want you to keep aware of. Advance the screen for me there, Jeff. And then just finally, AccuNet does have other accounting packages. Microsoft has come out with a new accounting package called Microsoft Dynamics 365. They did that just last November, so it's still a little new. Microsoft's still working out the wrinkles, but it looks like an up-and-comer, and AccuNet is certified on that package, and we can talk about that. We also represent Acumatica, which is a powerful web-based ERP solution that we've been implementing for over 4 years now. So we can talk about those packages as well. So any questions for me, I encourage you to email me at mmilligan@accu.com. It's on the screen. And go ahead and advance the slide, Jeff, and we'll turn it over to you now to do the presentation.
All right, thank you very much, Michael, and thank you everyone for taking time out of your busy day to come learn about what's going on in the Dynamics SL world. So this is my agenda for today. I just wanted to lay it out for you first. First, we're going to talk about life cycle. Where are we at on the latest and greatest versions of SL, but more importantly, we have one particular version of SL that's been out there for just over 10 years and what's happening to that. We're then going to talk about what is released in the past year. Hopefully you've had some information about what's happening in the SL world. So we're going to give you a brief, real quick recap of what's happened over the past year. Then we're going to focus on some of the things that we've done over the past year and some of the things that we're focusing on for the next version of Dynamics SL. So we'll talk web apps, which is our remote access to SL. We'll talk about Power BI, Power Apps, Flow. These are technologies that Microsoft has developed and put a lot of time and continue to put a lot of enhancements into these products. We'll talk about them, how they can be used today, but also what we're going to be using them in the future of Dynamics SL, specifically in Dynamics SL 2018. And that will bring us to our final topic, where we'll talk just some of the items. When is SL 2018 coming out? What are the focuses? What are the areas that we can expect to be enhanced? And some interesting information about that SL 2018 release. So we've got a full plate and a lot of great information to share, so I'll go ahead and get started here. So the first thing is lifecycle. Basically, back in the 10th of October, we ended support for Dynamics SL. Now, maybe you don't know this, and I'll show you the slide here in a second, but basically what that means is it left extended support. Now, generally what that means, if you're still on SL7 and you ask the marketing people, well, of course, Jeff's going to tell you, you need to upgrade. But of course, that's very nice, Jeff. But in reality, if I am on SL7, what does this really mean for me that it's left extended support? And what that means to you is that if you experience an issue with that Dynamics SL7 and you go online to submit a request for support, Microsoft standard support will not be available to you. So if you're used to going directly to Microsoft, when you do that, they'll say, I'm sorry, you're on a solution that is out of the extended support and no longer supported. So that's where it comes down to you as a person who still might be on Dynamics SL 7.0. And let's kind of put that down across all the current versions and all the different types of support you can have. Now, you guys have a little bit of a leg up on the rest of the world. You have AccuNet, who has their own support in-house. So you have a little better than standard Dynamics SL users because you have their expertise available to you through an email. But it's talking at a little high level just to kind of let you know where all the different versions of SL are. So SL7, we just talked about on the right-hand side. Basically, no support calls / support emails are available for SL7 right now. If you're on SL 2011, you are in the extended support timeframe, and that's going to go on through 2021. So you still have support. You can still use AccuNet, of course, but if you were to call or connect to Microsoft directly, you would still be able to get that support. Now, the big difference is when a solution is in extended support, you no longer get any hot fixes for it, and there are no year-end updates. So those are not available in the standard product right out of the box. And as far as if you're in SL 2015, well, obviously, of course, you are still in that mainstream support, and that will go through 2020. So that means you can request hotfixes, you will get year-end updates as long as you're on SL 2015, or if you upgrade to the newer version that we'll talk about here a little bit later. So hopefully you can kind of look at yourself, see where you are in that also, but also you've got a great resource with Michael and his team to talk to them exactly about where you are and what your plans are going forward. But just to kind of give you that something to talk about and something to think about as well. So the next thing I wanted to get into is what is released since last year. This is kind of a yearly thing. We did similar presentations about a year ago. So what's really changed over the last year? Well, the first thing was that we released Microsoft Dynamics SL 2015 CU2. Cumulative Update 2. Now, what a cumulative update is basically that is just a roll-up of hot fixes. So that means that if you're on SL 2011 today and you want to upgrade, you're going to go right to CU2, so you don't have to put any hot fixes or anything on and go from there. And that's the idea of a CU2, is that it rolls up previous hot fixes to make it easier to implement. Now, we did something a little bit differently. We added something to our CU2 release, which isn't generally what's usually available, but something that we thought made a lot of sense. And that's something around Power BI. And we'll talk about that here in just a few slides, but we added the ability to connect Dynamics SL 2015 to Power BI, and we gave you some great examples of how you can start using that. And we'll look at that, as I said, in just a few minutes here. So that released back in December of last year, so that is available to you. And if you're interested in getting that, reach out to Michael and his team. They can help you get that CU2 information. And more importantly, you can get that Power BI dashboard. So that's available to you. As long as you are on maintenance, you have the rights to get the CU2 file. You don't have to install CU2, but you can get access to that BI dashboard. Now, the other things that we were doing on the other side of the house, or so to speak, on the web app side of the house, is we have gone and we had released a big release back in that same December timeframe, but then we changed something that was very exciting for me as a person who's constantly promoting and constantly wanting something new. We went into a new release cycle. We went into monthly release cycles for web apps. So last December, we added about 40 or 50 new enhancements to the core product. Since that time, we've added more and more features on top of it. So we went into a monthly release cycle, and I should have updated because we've already released October and we're working on November's right now. So I apologize for not updating my slide, but we do continually release. And those can be hot fixes, that can be new enhancements. And we've been working quite well with a lot of our customers who need enhancements, like to change things, and we've been able to add them. So let's talk about some of those web apps and some of the things that we've done. Now, if you're not familiar with web apps really is just our remote way to access Microsoft Dynamics SL. That means that you are going to a website, hence the name web, and it's an application that will run through the web. And the idea is that I can run this on a Microsoft device, an Apple device, an Android device, doesn't matter what it is. As long as I have a web browser, I can get access to the information. Also, again, as I said, over the past, we're now in November, over the past 11 months, we've had over 75 different enhancements that we made to the core product, and we continue to add them on. So we've added new web apps back in December. We've added enhancements to all those features as well. And these are just these are the features that we really have inside of web apps. Now, as you could probably guess, there's a big focus here on project, because our previous remote access to Dynamics called the business portal was really focused at our project people, and we needed to replicate all those features first. So you're going to see that. If you see anything in the dark blue on the left-hand side, that is project focused. So if you are a project person, that means that you can put in your time, you can do timesheets for other people, you can put expenses in, you can approve all those items, you can set up a brand new project, you can do employee and resource maintenance, you can do employee and set up their rates. So when Jeff's working on a project, these are his rates. We can analyze our project financially. All the things that you were able to do, plus more features here on our web apps. Now, the next areas that we added was around utilization. Maybe you have a need to, in your project areas, to be able to say, okay, I definitely have budgeted 100 hours for this project, but who are those people that I'm actually going to put on the project? So I could throw Jeff on it, put Michael on it, put Val on it. And this whole resource planning and employee utilization lets me go ahead and set up that Jeff needs to be a certain percent billable, but more importantly, it lets me do the what if scenarios. Kind of think of it as a sandbox. What if I put Val on it for this many hours this week, and Jeff and Michael, and we move it around? It gives me a place to play and see exactly where I am planning versus the number of hours that I have. Now, to people who are in just using financials, we have added the vendor, customer, and payroll employee maintenance screens. So now you can get remote access to that information from your mobile devices, whether that's to set up, edit, make a change to an existing entry. You can do that all remotely. Now, all the items in red, those are all reporting type items. So we've got a lot of your standard reporting that comes with SL can be accessed remotely. That means I can be on my iPad and run an SSRS or Crystal report right from here, have it generate the report, grab a copy of it, and take a look at it. So again, that gives me opens up a lot of opportunity. Also, if I have some custom reports, I can put them up there as well. We also have taken that quick query feature, which hopefully you guys are very familiar with in SL 2011 and 2015, and we've moved that feature to make it remote as well. So you can query your data, slice and dice it, move things around, and try to find answers to questions, as well as a standard inventory lookup screen as well. Now, for all the business portal users, we also have ported over the other screens that we've had, including our requisition modules, item request entry and approval screens. Those are available, as well as the payroll and advanced payroll time card entry. So lots of things that you can do with web apps. We continue to enhance them and continue to add more. And what I wanted to do is just take a second to kind of highlight some of the things that we've added here with web apps. So the first thing is I've requested a change, and I'm very excited about this change is because here's web apps, and it is a very nice graphical looking thing. But what about what's it going to look like if I would like a little bit nicer look? Well, we've added the idea of adding tiles to your web apps. So web apps now have tiles as an option. If you like the other one, that's great, but now you have tiles as well. Now, the nice thing about this is it allows me to kind of color code the different menus. So I've got a project menu, resource management, inventory. I can click on any of those items and be able to see what's inside them. So if I wanted to see what's inside of project, if I went ahead and clicked on project, I'd see all of the screens that are available. And it allows me to quickly see based on color and nice little icons to give me information about what I've got out there. So that's a big change, but also something that makes it a lot easier for a person, especially if you are running it on a smaller device, to get your finger on that button to be able to open up that screen. So we've had a lot of great feedback and a lot of great looks here now that we have basically an option for a graphical interface as well. Now, just for fun, just to say all these icons can be changed at your heart's whim. So one of the things that we added is the ability that you can customize your tiles, because it doesn't matter what icon I created, you're going to want your own. So I can go ahead and add a little smiley face to my shared, or I can be really silly and add myself as an icon. It works much better when I'm in person and you can laugh at it. But again, you get the idea. It's very simple. All I need to do is I replace the item request or requisition icon with my name with this picture on it, and was able to use it and start using it throughout the system. So think about that. If you are a specific company and you want to help someone understand where they need to go inside of a product now, just like you can in the standard menu, you can customize this information to look a specific way. Now, some other things that have been added as well, being able to reopen completed time cards. This is a big ask. So if you're like me and I have to put my time card in, just probably like you guys every week, when I'm doing so, it's Friday, I'm busy, I'm gonna go in here and I can go ahead and see all the information here. Yeah, I think I put all my time in. I'm just gonna change this over to complete and I'm gonna go hit save. Well, once I do that, I look at the bottom and go, oh, whoops, you know what? I only have 8 hours into the system. Now, in the past, if I had that situation, I would have had to call up my approver. Let's say Valerie's my approver and it's Friday, and say, Valerie, hey, by the way, Valerie, sorry about this. I accidentally submitted my time for approval and I forgot to finish it. I'm well under what I should be. Well, in the past, I'd have to call her and hope she's still around, hope she can reject it so I can then reopen it and change it. Well, one of the top requests that we had is that, you know what would be really nice is if I can take care of that. If I, as the submitter, look at it and go, oh yeah, that's wrong. I can come in here, and if this feature is turned on, I can go ahead and click on here, open up the screen, and it's going to allow me to reopen my time card. A huge ask and a huge benefit here. So now I can click on reopen. It's going to prompt me. I have to put something in, a reason why. I forgot my time. Click the reopen button, and ta-da, my time card is back open. Now, a couple caveats, obviously. This is not a standard feature that you have to turn on. It is a feature that is optional for you to turn on. So if you like this idea that you can open up a time card that's been submitted for approval when you need it, this is available to you. Number two, as far as how does the person approving get notified of this? Well, initially when I submit my time card for approval, it is going to notify them. So they'll get an email saying Jeff has submitted his time for approval. But when I go ahead and reopen it, it's going to also send an email that says basically, Jeff has reopened it, and the reason why he reopened it is because he forgot to put his time in. So it'll deliver that information to them. So time saving, enhancing the core functionality through the web, making it available to you as an option as needed. Now, other things as well is we have a whole new way to add custom links to our menu interface. So here's an example here. We've added the ability for you to turn on the ability to add external links. We took very simple examples here of websites, but think of it. Let's say you have an SSRS report that you usually go to. Maybe you have an internal website for your accounting department or a specific department, and you want to be able to get access to wherever you're at. You don't want to have to drop out of your web apps because you spend a lot of time here. well, we can add those links into here as well. So that's a new feature that's been added. This is the ability to add external links as well. Other things as well, when I do my expense reports, we're making that process simpler and quicker for you. So for example, in this example here, I put in my car rental, my airfare, and you can tell that generally my project and tasks are going to be the same. Well, wouldn't that be nice if I didn't have to type that information over and over again? Well, we've done just that. So if I click on new and I go to my required field and I choose a new something like hotel, it will automatically populate the project and task for me. So the benefit here is it's populated it for me. I didn't have to retype it, and it'll automatically do that for me. For anybody doing expense entry, it's a great benefit because now I don't need to retype things over and over and over again. But it's also been enhanced in the sense that it will only copy from the previous entry. So if I decide to change my project midway, it will start copying the new project and task to the lines after it. So it's a nice feature. Again, you can turn it on, you can turn it off. If you don't like the idea that would automatically populate for you, you can leave it off. And that's kind of the mantra here is give them something new, but give them the flexibility to turn it on or off because you might like the way it works today already. Now, some other things that'll be coming soon. Why I say this is coming soon because this already exists in our SL 2018 version of web apps, but this is already out there, and this is really focused on people who are required to put in invoice comments. And invoice comments, you can see the little, I know it's a little grainy here, but IC stands for invoice comments, and DI stands for day info. So what we did is, it's the standard product. One of the things is required is that maybe, Jeff, you need to put an invoice comment for every day that you worked. And so what I can do is quickly, if I wanted to see if I had all my invoice comments in, I would have to click on each cell one at a time, and then it would show the icon down here that said, oh, yep, you have an invoice comment, you don't have an invoice comment. So that kind of made it hard for our end users who really need that flexibility. So what we did is we moved these icons to the grid, so they're now available here to view. And I can quickly see right now that I've put my invoice comments for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday into the system. And it appears that I forgot to do it on Monday for this one. So a quick way to do it, a quick way to get access to those same screens, be able to enter the data and visually see that, yes, I am good and I can move forward. So nice enhancement around there as well. So we look forward to that to rolling back here in the next months as well. So web apps roadmap. Again, we've been very, very successful with our monthly release cycle over the close to 12 months that we've been out there. We've been able to add new features to web apps. Again, I just highlighted a few that I really liked. We've been getting great feedback. If you are currently a person that is using web apps, I continually get chances to meet with you to discuss enhancements and see which ones I can roll into the core product. Because a lot of the things that you guys people are doing out there make a lot of sense for them, but also make a lot of sense for the community. And that's really where I get excited about that. So again, if you are a customer on web apps and you have any feedback or any enhancements, contact Michael and he can contact me and we can get in a discussion going on, because that's where we've been able to add a lot of these neat features is by talking to them. And then we'll continue to build out new web app features coming into the next release of SL 2018. All right, so there's a lot of what's been going on and what we have been doing. So let's kind of continue that story around some of the power areas of Microsoft. So if you haven't heard of Power BI before, there's a lot of information to really consume out there. And again, you can speak with Michael and his team about their abilities with it, but you can also go out online on your favorite browser and find your favorite sites, and there's plenty of data on it. And basically what Microsoft wanted to do is they wanted to create a visual connection engine that will connect to anything. This tool right here that you see the screenshot below showing you some really nice looking graphs and little things and so forth, that can be connected to really any type of data that's out there. So I could have a really nice Excel document with a lot of really great data, and I could connect Power BI to it and set up and view the information. So it can be as simple as an Excel document or as detailed as something like a Microsoft Dynamics SL database. Really allows me to be able to view that information and share that information with others. So when we came out with that CU2 release last year, again, one of the big things that we talked about is the fact that we added some information on Power BI. So the first thing that we included with that release was a document that walks you through how to first get Power BI. I heard great things about it. How do I first get it? And then how do I connect it to my Dynamics SL database so I can start playing around? So there might be some of you out there that's really exciting. That's stuff that you want to be able to do. This document is geared towards you. If you wanted to go a little bit further and said, that's great, we did a real simple connection, I think, to your customer information to show you just some of the things you could do. But what we also wanted to do is to provide you with what we call a dashboard. And really, in this case, a dashboard is just basically taking, in this particular situation, 4 different reports, putting it onto one screen that a person can interact with and view. So obviously, one of the first areas that we focused in is, since a lot of our people that are remote are using things like web apps to connect for their projects, we wanted to create some project dashboards that really help them out. So this is just a sample, a couple sample reports. Some of the things that we have out there, we have the ability to view. In this particular report at the top, we're being able to look at labor and expenses. So we can see a mixture between labor and expenses. Right now, this is demo data, so you're seeing me just seeing that all of its expenses, no labor. But again, the idea is how much is our labor and expenses, what percentage of the total amounts that are out there. So you can really kind of see what's the breakout between the two. Now dropping down to the bottom, looking at your gross margin, looking at it month to date and looking at the previous month to date. And the idea behind it is to show you where you are for this current month, but also see where are you versus your previous months. Are you trending up, trending down? So there's something we would be worried about. And right now, actually, look, we're doing pretty good. But again, give me a way to quickly visually see what's going on and make a decision whether I need to go look into it more or talk to someone about it. Now up here on the top one, we have a revenue, labor, and expense. And the nice thing about this one, it is actually more interactive in the sense that I can start really high and see people that are putting their time against these projects and drill down to the details to see exactly how much revenue and such is happening, even down to the month. So I've already drilled down in this particular example. I've drilled down to the months to see exactly which months have we been doing a lot of the entries, or a lot of the monies out there. So I can drill down there and see that information. And then down the bottom, we do have our top 10 projects. Again, this is being able to show it right now by revenue, and it's going to show me from top to bottom exactly what are those top 10 projects. Now, great information, and as well as up in the upper left-hand corner, we have what we call slicers. And slicer is just really a way of filtering the data that you're seeing. Right now, I can choose whether I want to see 5 projects, 10 projects, the first only one project. How many do I want to see? I can see it for a set of years, so I can choose multiple years, or a set of periods within that year. So again, it allows you really to slice and dice it the way that you really need to see it. So great report. We got a lot of great feedback from people who really enjoy that information. Now we also created a similar one, because that previous one was month to date. This one is inception to date. So month to date just showing you currently, inception date saying, show me from the beginning of time for this project, how we doing? Same information, but giving you a little different slant to see more in-depth information across a greater span of time. So again, another way of seeing that great information with just a slightly different way. And the last report that comes with it is looking at your rankings from inception to date. So I can say I want to see the top 5 projects, I can see the top 10, 25, whatever I want, and tell me which ones are the top projects, which ones are the ones on the bottom. Same with my managers, who are performing the best and who is not performing as well, and we can see who those people are. The thing that I really like about this one is all the different ways we can choose to slice the data. And this is nice because I can actually choose multiple slicers at the same time. So I could say, let me see my revenue and expenses, or my labor and my expenses at the same time, and be able to view them, and then have the reports update to view that information. So you'll see a lot of different ways that we can kind of slice and dice that information and be able to share it and use it for your own purposes. So that was where we are with our Power BI. Now, Power BI we'll talk about in a second. Obviously, we're continuing to build out things in Power Apps, or Power BI, excuse me, to be able to show way to connect your SL data and to continue to enhance that area. And we'll talk about that here in a couple of minutes here when we get into the details of SL 2018. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk to you about is another Power feature. This is called Power Apps. And the idea behind Power Apps is that you probably know the best about your company, or someone at AccuNet knows the best about how your company runs. And wouldn't it be great if we could create a quick application that would interact with your data or show you pertinent information that's pertinent to what you need without having to go out and buy a new application to do this? And the nice thing about this thing is it's built to be able to be done by people who are not developers. So you don't have to be a formal developer. I'm sure it would help you, but you don't need to be all the ins and outs of developing, because it's a visual type of idea. So again, I want to be able to connect to my systems that we already have, be able to create or view the data that we have in there, and then I want to be able to get access to that wherever I'm at. So we want to be able to get access to, whether we're on our smartphones, our tablets, wherever we happen to be. We want to get access to the information. Now, a Power App can be as simple as I want to see a list of the things that are in my database. I'm going to see my customers or vendors or inventory items. Or it can be I want to create an all-out kind of Power BI-ish looking report where it's showing me more data. It's giving me ability to view things like you can see some pie charts here and some numbers about what's going on there. So it really can go from the simple to the more advanced as well, and it really supports that idea. Now, one of the things, again, to do is to help you do more with what you already have. You know SL, or if you don't know, your AccuNet team knows SL, and you come to them with your situations. And as Michael was talking about, sometimes it is that, spend a little time now to take a problem or a process that's taking you hours today. Maybe there's a simple solution here you can build with the Power App. So it really allows you to take that information that you know and AccuNet knows about your system and be able to translate into a solution. Now, on the other side, there's another piece that connects to Power Apps, which is called Flow. And think of Flow as kind of an informant, so to speak. Flow is basically out there notifying you and letting you know when things are going on in your system, in your database, in wherever. And why I say whenever is because one of the examples that Microsoft shows is that you can actually have a flow. And let's say maybe you like to tweet. This is an example that I thought was interesting. But you could have it that if Valerie decides to tweet something nice about Dynamics SL, and I love the fact that she did that, I could have it automatically say to her, hey, Valerie, it sends her an email, says, I saw your tweet. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Now, at the same time, that flow can be monitoring, and when Michael and Val say something nice to it, then Jeff can get a little report. Think of like an Excel document that says, hey, by the way, Valerie and Michael said something really nice about Dynamics SL. What would you like to do with it? Well, I can choose to do nothing and say, very nice. I know they automated it. Maybe I'll take the time to contact them on my own. But also what I can do is say, you know what, I probably want to keep track of Michael and Val because they've said some nice things and maybe I want to keep track of them. So you can go ahead and do an approval inside of that flow and actually push that data right into your Dynamics database. So just an example. Again, you could be used for something as simple as I just want to monitor when new customers or vendors and so forth. So those are just some of the things that Flow provides you. But Flow does provide that idea that I can receive an email and I can interact with the data by either approving, rejecting, forwarding on, whatever I need to do. And that's something that we think is really exciting about some of the things that we're going to talk about here in a second around 2018. So both of those things, Power Apps, Flows, there's lots of pre-built items out there that you can play around with today, but also it enables you to go ahead and start looking into what you can do with SL. And just like Power Apps, Flow is something that can be available on your tablet, phone, wherever you need to get it. It'll be able to get information to you. So given those two things, Power Apps and Flow, I went to the team and said, all right, here's what I want to have for SL 2018. I want to create some type of combination of Power Apps and Flow. That's something that I can provide to customers that they can see benefit, and then they can take that and kind of run with it, whether that's AccuNet takes it and runs with it, or you as the customers run with it. So what we've done is we've started creating these, and this is an early couple screenshots of some of the Power Apps that we've already created, but it gives you an idea of some of the things that you can do, and hopefully it'll spark something in your mind. So the first thing is that we've got it set up that we can view customer receivables due. So how much is due due that customer. We can also run an aging. So we can go ahead and run an aging even though we're not in the office. So Microsoft we have a way to connect to that process and run it. We can also, once the aging is run, we can get those results sent to us. By the way, the aging was run, and here's what the results are. Here's what all the different agings are. And then also we can decide, oh, you know what? I see the aging amounts, or I see the receivables due. I'm going to click on this and go ahead and email them, contact them to discuss that. So that's kind of the scenario I brought to the team, and this is kind of 2 examples of what we've come back with. Again, these are preliminary, so there's some tweaks being gone on, but again, this gives you the basic ideas. So the first thing is I said I need a interface that will work on a phone. And I've kind of blown it up here just to make it easier for us to see, but you can definitely see that this would work well on a phone. So for example, I'm looking at my customers' accounts receivables. I'm seeing all the different customers that are out there, and it appears to be sorting them based on the outstanding balance. And Adultum has over 24,000. Well, that's a lot. I probably need to look into that to see exactly why. So I could go ahead and click on them, and it'll bring us to a secondary screen where it's showing me some key information. Again, here it's showing me a little bit of a breakout, again, an early screenshot of what's the breakout of all the different the companies inside of my database that owes. Looks like CHS, they owe the most, but also gives me their phone number and email. And what it allows me to do, let's say, for example, I just choose that I'm going to email this person, so I could click on the email icon. It'll pull up my email the way I'm logged in, allow me to go ahead and type in an email, say, okay, by the way, I see that you're over $24,000. What's the deal? And move forward from there. Next, we have the ability to search for customers and might look at the numbers and say, you know what, I know City Power and Light just paid, so you know what, I need to run an aging. So I can click on the button here, choose any of the statement cycles that have been defined in standard SL, whichever one I've set up, hit the execute button, and then tell it, yes, I do want it to go ahead and run the aging. Now I've set it up that after that Power App runs, it's going to call a flow, and the flow will automatically take those results and email them to me. So I receive that results. I can click on the attachment and see here it is. Again, this is an early version, but you get the idea. I've got my customers, my balances, and all my aging buckets, which you can tell this is demo database because everything's sitting over 90. But again, you get the idea. This will be cleaned up, but the idea that I can receive that data automatically, no one had to run a report for me. It automatically generated it for me. Next is then, now that I've got the data, I have the ability to say, you know what, this is really interesting. I'm going to forward this on to my manager or send it to someone else, so I can do that as well. Now, the next thing they said is, okay, that's great, great scenario. I still like that, but let's move this out to a larger situation. Let's say a tablet or a desktop that has a little bigger space. I don't want to be stuck in that little area. And this is what we came up for that. So again, giving the same bit of information. I'm looking at the current balances for the customers that are out there. I can then choose, for example, let's look at the phone company. Again, it just gives me more real estate, a better way to see it, where you can see we can drop in some more information. We're still working on this, obviously, but gives me that same idea. I can view what's going on with the customers and take action, interact, email, call, whatever I happen to have set up on the system. So that's where we've been spending a lot of time, and that's, you know, as Michael was saying, I mean, there's a lot of great features inside of Dynamics SL. The key area that you really need to focus on is making sure that it's set up. I preach that all the time, and Michael said it perfectly, because that's where you're going to find things. There's plenty of new features. There's plenty of core things in SL. Where we're trying to go is take you guys to the things that are going to make your lives even better by taking it beyond, you know, inside the rich client. I want you to start using things that are going to get you out and about and doing things in a better way outside of the core product, expanding you through Power BI, Power Apps, and Flow. So with that, let's talk about the big announcement. And the big announcement is that Microsoft Dynamics SL 2018 will be releasing the first half of the calendar year 2018. So anytime after the January, February timeframe, we will be releasing SL 2018. So that's exciting. Great to see. We're very excited to get this out and get it into people's hands. Now, the second thing, and this is the thing that Jeff, the I want more person likes, is that we have moved our release cycle for SL 2018 to make it into a quarterly quarterly release cycle. Now, what does that mean to you? Well, we've had a lot of great success in talking to customers, talking about the enhancements that they need and being able to roll them out in web apps. And so much that if you were asking me, Jeff, when's the next version of SL, it would be another year later, because I want more and more and more features added into SL, because there's constantly new things that Microsoft is doing. There's constantly new things that we want to address. And by changing to a quarterly release cycle, I can't say that today, we've actually made this come true in the sense that when SL 2018 comes out, if I've talked about a feature and it's not in there on day one, this quarterly release cycle means that I can throw it in at a later time. So what we'll do is, with the release of SL 2018, we'll add all the changes behind the scenes with the database, make sure that's all good. And then we will have new features, obviously, but then we'll continually be able to add new features on top of it, which for me, as Jeff, the marketing slash, I love SL and I want it to have more and more, this is wonderful. And this is something that I'm very, very excited to talk about and have. So what are some of the things that are coming in SL 2018? I'm going to skip this and break it down so you can see it all at one time. So the first thing is the Power Suite evolution on the very right-hand side. Those are the things that we talked about: Power BI, Power Apps, Flow, creating an OData connection to these Power areas. There's lots to talk about there, but you've seen just kind of the things that we're starting to work on in there as well. And as I talked about with Flow, one of the things that you can do with Flow is you can approve things. So one of the other things that we're going to add to the core database is that we're going to add an approval table. So the approval tables will be generic enough that it can be used across the product. So if you have something specific you want to do, you can work with your AccuNet team to use those approval processes to be able to approve things. But also, we're going to start rolling approvals into some of the key screens that we've had in the product for a long time. So approvals will be able to be done for your own specific purposes, but also rolling out to the core product. We'll then be able to take those approvals and use things like Flow to approve them. So again, we don't need to worry about developing all these crazy things. We can just use what's built out there and available to us now. Now we'll continue to do web apps, so we'll continue to do what we talked about before. Enhancing the query process. There is a query and preview screen that was added in 2015 that I loved. Again, show me the information and then let me see what it's going to look like if I move forward with it. Rolling that out across the board to the other areas of the product as well. Optimizing the financial things. There are some processes in GL, payables, receivables. I just chose a couple here, but the idea is I want some of these processes where it takes me 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 steps to get something done, and you can think of those in your mind. My thought here is like, let's enhance that. Let's cut those down. Let's remove some of those steps to make some of these things more automated. I might not be able to get rid of all the steps, but if I can cut down a couple steps here, make those current processes ever easier for you. And then, of course, project. We're focusing obviously a lot on the project area to continue to enhance where the project users use the product, to help with the approvals of invoicing or preliminary invoicing as well as other areas around that. So lots of things there, and I know that I'm running way over, so I apologize. So the roadmap is bright. The roadmap, you can see where we are right now. We're in the process this year of continuing with web apps, which we will into next year, and we'll release SL 2018 as we talked about the first half of next calendar year. So with that, thank you so much for listening. I'm very excited about where we're going with it. I'm very excited to have you guys along for the trip with SL as we move on to SL 2018 and beyond. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Valerie so she can tell you about all the great things Plumbline Consulting's ISV solutions or add-on solutions are going to do to help you continue to get even more out of Dynamics SL. Valerie?
Thank you so much, Jeff. Can everybody hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Yep.
Wonderful. Let me share my screen. Did you turn presenter over to me?
I'll do that.
Okay, wonderful. All right, let's share my screen. There we go. All right, so you should be seeing my screen.
Yes, we are.
All right, wonderful. So a couple things that we wanted to make sure everybody was aware of with Plumline Consulting this year is some new offerings we have, as well as some new products. So I'm going to start with, if any of you are on SL 2011, Service Pack 2 or higher, and we will be offering a package for you to receive year-end updates. So as Jeff had mentioned earlier in the presentation, SL 2011 will not receive year-end updates from Microsoft. So Plumline is putting together that package so that you guys can still get those year-end updates. We understand that you might not have had an upgrade in your budget this year, or just not had time to do it. So if you are one still on SL 2011, feel free to reach out to Michael at AccuNet, and he will get you the needed paperwork to sign you up for the year-end package. The next thing I'd like to talk about is a product that I really, really like. Plumline, we use this product all the time, and it used to be called Rainbow Search, but we've recently rebranded it to call it Quick Find, make the title of the product tell you a little bit more about what it's doing for you. And the Quick Find product allows you to find information within SL very easily. So I use the accounts receivable Quick Find all the time, but I can just plug in a reference number or a customer name and find any of the documents relating to that customer. But as you can see, there's a colored legend here down below, and you can come in here and you can say, I know this vendor has the word, I don't know, gold in it, and you could say shift $, and that would light this up in purple, and it would look for any vendor with the name that included the name gold, and it would load it into a grid for you, a search grid. You could say, give me everything for this vendor that matches an amount of $560 or more by doing shift greater than sign, and it would load all the documents that were more than $560. And then what you can do from there is you can export the data to an Excel pivot table, which is the new functionality we've added to the product this year. So that functionality for exporting the data that you load into the search grid is in the accounts payable, accounts receivable, general ledger, and project controller modules. So Quick Find can be found in all the main all the main Dynamics SL modules, but the pivot table is offered with the core 4. So that is some information on our Quick Find. If it sounds like something that would help you find information in SL, make it a little easier, please feel free to reach out. It is, again, one of my favorite products. This is the search grid that you're seeing in front of you, and then exporting that data to an Excel pivot table. Next up, I want to mention the fact that we've partnered with a company called FastPath to provide a very powerful auditing tool for Dynamics SL. So Audit Trail gives you the ability to track all changes made within SL, and it's very simple to set up. You get to choose the field, the tables, and the fields that you want to track the changes for. You can email reports directly to specific people within the company. It's, again, a very powerful auditing tool. Auditing season is coming up, and if you have found that your auditors are asking for digital copies of all of the changes being made in specific tables, this product might be something you want to look into. Another thing that's coming at that time of year is the Affordable Care Act, processing your 1094 and 1095Cs. If you have not found a software to allow you to process your paperwork and stay compliant with the laws that are out there, please look into our Affordable Care Act product. It's Integrity Data's ACA SL Edition. We have this product for even if you aren't using SL Payroll, you can still use the module using templates to load the template and then import the information into the cloud. So I'm not going to say much more about it other than if you still need an ACA compliant software, please reach out about ours. Now, some of our most popular products that I just want to make sure you're aware of, that people have been buying a lot over the last year. One is our prepaids processor. If you are tracking your prepaids on an Excel spreadsheet and manually entering the data into SL every month to post your transactions, this product is for you. You can set up your prepaids in one screen and then come into a processing screen and process all your prepaids for the month, and it'll post your debits and your credit transactions directly to the general ledger. It also has a lot of reporting capabilities to give you the ability to forecast your prepaids, see what prepaids you have out there, prepaids with current balances, things of that nature. Very popular product. A lot of people are purchasing or using their credit cards to buy things for their company, or people are using their credit cards for just regular expenses and things like that. If you are hand keying your credit card transactions into the system from your statement on a monthly basis, this product will help you dramatically. All you do is load your credit card statement into the grid. You can edit it, and then you can post the transactions to AP, and it'll create a voucher for every line item in the grid. It'll create a dummy check paying that line item, and then it'll create a voucher for your credit card company to be paid, all with the click of this button. So if you're hand keying credit card transactions into SL on a monthly basis, this product is for you. Another product that we have out there based on credit cards is if you are paying your credit card or paying your bills with credit cards, this product can make that process easier for you. We also, if you are set up with like your bank or your credit card company for them to pay your bills, and you need to export a file to them so that they can process your bills, this product has that capability. So it'll take care of the SL transactions for you, as well as give you the file to export to your bank. So in the future, or maybe this is something you might be looking into doing next year, since a lot of banks and credit card companies are providing bonuses or credits back for you, letting them pay your bills for them. And then another product is Vendor Multi-Remit. SL out of the box only gives you one remittance address per vendor. We have created this product to give you the ability to have multiple remittance addresses per vendor. Instead of having to set up one-off vendors all the time, you can, or set up these vendors all the time just because you need their address. You can use Vendor Multi-Remit to be able to have multiple addresses for a single vendor. As well as we have our one-time vendor product, that if you have a lot of one-time vendors that you seem to need to cut checks for or process things for, we have the one-time vendor. You can create one-time vendor, and then you just call upon that screen and fill in the information for that single one-time vendor that you are looking to process. And then this way you don't have to create multiple one-time vendors and muck up, have hundreds of these one-time vendors in your vendor IDs. Then one other product that has been around forever is our AP Void Check Entry Plus product. So this product gives you the ability to load the grid with any checks that you need to void, select the checks and hit the button, and it's going to create your void check entry, and your debit memo batches and the zero check for you. So it's following the standard SL processing. It's just creating those transactions for you, so you don't manually have to do it. As well as we have the AP Voucher Reverser. Same product, gives you the ability to reverse an AP voucher. Maybe you haven't cut the check yet, but you need to reverse the voucher. You get both functionalities for the price of one. It's a very popular product for people who are voiding checks or reversing vouchers a lot. And then the last product I'm going to talk about is our fixed asset module. This is our most popular module, as we have hundreds of customers using it. If you're tracking your assets in an outside system or on a spreadsheet, you should really look into this product. You can track all your assets within SL. You can post the depreciation directly to your general ledger, as well as create assets directly from transactions in accounts payable, purchasing, general ledger, or project controller. It also does things like does your tax reporting for your 4797 and your 4562. So it's a very popular product. If fixed assets is something that might be on your agenda for 2018, you should take a look at our product. And then the last thing I'm going to tell you is we have some other webinars going on at Plumline this month. So if you would like to hear more about ACA or our quick find or audit trail modules, we do have some webinars. You can check them out on our website, as well as we have all of our webinars posted on our YouTube channel, so that you can take a look at any of the products I've shown you today, or a lot of products that I wasn't able to show you, because we have over 100 add-on products for Dynamics SL at Plumline Consulting. With that being said, if you would like to take a look at adding additional products to your SL system, we have a 20% off offer that is good through the end of this month. So that's our biggest promotion of the year. We only offer it once a year, so please go ahead and take advantage of that promotion if there are add-on products that you would like to add into your Dynamics SL system. And last but not least, since we are big supporters of the Dynamics SL user group, we just wanted to make sure that you were all aware that it was changed to April this year due to the fact that it was canceled from Hurricane Irma. So it will be in St. Louis, and it'll be April 23rd through the 26th, and registration is open. So go ahead and register to attend the 2018 Dynamics SL user group. And with that being said, do you guys have, if you have any questions for Jeff or myself, please go ahead and put them in the chat window, and we'd be happy to answer any of your questions for what's going on in SL or any of our products that we've talked about today. So please feel free to put that in. And Mike, I'm turning it back over to you.
Thanks, Valerie. AccuNet uses Plumline because they have such a vast library. If you've got a problem, chances are they've got a library with an app that could fix it. So rather than custom build that, you can just purchase it off the shelf. There are other companies that have libraries of packages that solve very specific problems, and that's where AccuNet comes in and can help connect the problem with the solution and get that resolved quickly. So any business process improvement, anything basically where you look at it and you think this takes too much time, we can probably give you a solution that would help make that faster. I've been answering a few questions that came up on the chat window. I don't have any currently. Anybody else has a question, please type that into the chat, or you can email me at mmilligan@accu.com, or Valerie's email is up on the screen there as well, vborak@Plumline Consulting. So if we don't have anything else, I'll go ahead and let everybody go. I sure appreciate your time and your business, and thanks, Jeff and Valerie, for the assistance.
Our pleasure.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day.